governance can be seen as processes, institutions of government produce results that meet the needs of society while making the best use of the resources at their disposal. This can be linked to what is currently being witnessed in Enugu State under the administration of Governor Peter Mba, which is evident in the massive support and commendations from individuals and corporate bodies to the Mba administration. So on today's edition of Enugu State This Week, we shall be looking at the commendation of Governor Mba for emerging most prudent governor in the first quarter of 2024 by Enugu Good Governance Group, and commendations from prominent leaders of Enugu State to Governor Mba over what they described as his tremendous impact. And the Director General Global of the International Human Rights Commission recommending Enugu as fourth UN headquarters. And global education stakeholders recommending Enugu State's education development model to other Nigerian subnational governments and countries as a veritable framework to eradicate poverty, contain insecurity, and improve living standard. Please do stay with us as we bring you these and more. My name is Precious Chukwuekezie. Don't forget that you can follow us on our social media handles on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Enugu ESBS, on Instagram, Enugu ESBS, on Facebook, ESBS Enugu, and subscribe to our YouTube channel at ESBS Enugu 042. Now let's bring you the details of the story. A civil society organization, the Enugu Good Governance Group, E3G, congratulated the Governor Peter Mba administration in Enugu State on its emergence as the most prudent among the 36 states governments in the first quarter of 2024. The group, in a statement by its national coordinator, Comrade Odinaka Okechukwu, said a report published by the Open Nigerian State, a website supported by budget, which showed that the Dr. Peter Mba administration recorded the least recurrent expenses among the other states in the first 3 months of 2024, was yet another indication that the governor's presence in government was inspired by selfless service. It is recorded that data published by Open Nigeria States based on the budget implementation report of the states showed that whereas Benue, Imo, Niger, Rivers, Sokoto, and Yobe states have no data to their names, the remaining 30 state governments spent 986.64 billion naira on recurrent expenditures, which includes worker salaries, refreshments, sitting allowances, traveling allowances, utilities, among others, in the first quarter of 2024. Within the week, prominent leaders in Enugu State commended Governor Peter Mba over what they described as his tremendous impact, saying with what the governor has done in just 1 year, Enugu will become #1 destination for investment, tourism, and living in the next 4 years. They gave the verdict at a state banquet held at the Old Government Lodge, Enugu, to mark the governor's first anniversary in office. The event attracted former governors Jim Nwobodo, Sullivan Chime, and Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi, National Assembly and State House of Assembly members, traditional and political leaders in the state, among others. While urging total support for Governor Mba, the leaders, however, urged him not to be deterred by naysayers, as his works would ultimately speak for him as they materialized. Former Governor of Enugu State, Sullivan Chime, said Governor Mba had literally turned Enugu into a construction site, while water was no longer a source of high blood pressure for him and most residents. Also in our news bulletin for this week, the Director General Global of the International Human Rights Commission, Dr. Tivlumun Ahure, tipped Enugu to emerge as the fourth headquarters of the United Nations. Dr. Ahure also recommended Enugu State's education development model to other Nigerian subnational governments and the global community as a veritable framework to eradicate poverty, contain insecurity, and improve standard of living. He spoke in Enugu during the opening of the Maiden Educators International Model of the United Nations Conference, an initiative of IHRC, citing the innovative approaches citing the innovative approaches and the huge investment by the current government to leapfrog education in the state. At the event, themed the development of education in developing countries, which drew participants from 14 nations as well as several UN bodies. Ahure said Enugu was consciously chosen to host the maiden conference as well as the simulation. Again, we had it in our news bulletin for the week that global education stakeholders recommended Enugu State's education development model to other Nigerian subnational governments and countries as a veritable framework to eradicate poverty, contain insecurity, and improve standard of living. The recommendation was made midweek at the opening of the Maiden Conference themed the development of education in developing countries and holding in Enugu, southeast Nigeria, citing the innovative approaches and huge investment by current government to leapfrog education in the state. Speaking at the event, we drew participants from 14 nations as well as several UN bodies. The coordinator, African Regional Headquarters of International Human Rights Commission, Dr. Tivlumun Ahure, said Enugu was consciously chosen to host the maiden conference due to its leading role in education development. Enugu State Governor Peter Mba reached an agreement with the Minister of Solid Minerals, Henry Alake, to establish the Mineral Resources and Environmental Management Committee to oversee mining companies' adherence to environmental regulations in Enugu State. Governor Mba also sought for stronger collaboration with the federal government under the Ministry of Solid Minerals on an enhanced mining sector development, advocated for adequate legislation to boost mining across the nation and the need to create favorable environment for mining activities in Enugu State. This collaboration is aimed at boosting the growth of the mining industry in Enugu and providing alternative solutions on the mining of other mineral materials like coal in the state. We also brought your way in the news on Enugu State Governor Dr. Peter Mba charging the Chairman, Board of Trustees of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, Senator Adolphus Wabara, on leading the party's rebirth. Mba gave the charge in Umuahia, the Abia State capital, during the 76th birthday celebration and civic reception organized in honor of the former President of the Senate on his emergence as the substantive chairman of the PDP's BOT. In his address, Mba, who is currently the only PDP governor in the Southeast, recalled the party's glorious days, which also produced Senator Wabara as the President of the Senate, and tasked the elder statesman on reenacting that golden era to return PDP to the pinnacle of glory. Speaking further, Mba said it is also his hope and prayer that the great son of Igbo land would bring his experience to bear to inspire the renaissance of the party. The Enugu State government started the disbursement of the second batch of compensation to the property owners and tenants of the Nigeria Railway Corporation NRC affected by the soon-to-be commenced construction of modern transport terminal at Holy Ghost, Enugu. The move has also been commenced by the NRC, which is the lessor of the said properties. Speaking, the Commissioner for Transportation, Dr. Obiozo, however, reiterated processes and criteria. Speaking, the Commissioner for Transportation, Dr. Obiozo, however, reiterated processes and criteria for payment of compensation, saying original tenants of the NRC were entitled to compensation. The Enugu State government said it will be employing no fewer than 400 clinical and non-clinical staff within its functional primary healthcare centers to strengthen manpower needs. The Executive Secretary of Enugu State Primary Healthcare Development Agency, Dr. Ifeyinwa Aniosheku, disclosed this to newsmen in Enugu. Aniosheku noted that those to be employed are based on existing manpower gaps identified in PHCS in each of the 17 council areas. The Nigerian Investment Promotion Commission (NIPC) within the week launched the Enugu State edition of the Nigerian Investment Certification Program for states, a program designed to prime the states to attract both local and foreign investments. Speaking during a working visit to the governor on the sidelines of the flag-off program, the Executive Secretary of NIPC, Aisha Rimi, said the NICP's aim is to identify and promote the unique investment opportunities within each state, enhance the image of the state as attractive destinations for investment, strengthen federal and state cooperation on investment promotion, and improve the services provided to investors, ultimately boosting investment inflows, creating jobs, and increasing state revenues. Responding, Governor Mbaho was represented by the Deputy Governor, Barrister Ifeanyi Osai, reiterated the administration's determination to transition the state from a civil service state to a private sector-driven economy. Governor Peter Mbah of Enugu State outlined a bold strategy for climate change and sustainable development in the state. Mbah made the announcement during his speech to commemorate the one-year anniversary of his anniversary. Mbah made the announcement during his speech to commemorate the one-year anniversary of his administration. A statement issued by the Special Advisor to the Governor on Climate Policy and Sustainable Development, Chukwuekezie, stated that the administration is well aware of climate change's devastating impact on economic growth and livelihoods, and was determined to tackle in line with his vision to reduce poverty and deliver people-focused governance in Enugu State. He stated that Enugu State, under his leadership, recognizes the critical need for a strong climate policy that would pave the way for a clean energy transition, ignite green innovation, strengthen climate resilience, and promote sustainable economic growth for the state, assuring a brighter and greener future for everyone. The Enugu State government, through the Ministry of Justice, pledged to support the Nigeria Police Force Enugu State Command in its mission to safeguard life and property in the state by diligently prosecuting criminals, quick dispensation of justice, and defending the rights of the citizens. The Honorable Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice, Dr. Kingsley Tochi Ude, made a pledge during a meeting with the Enugu State Commissioner of Police, Kana Ayozebu, at the Ministry of Justice Headquarters, 3 Arms Zone, Enugu. Dr. Ude assured the Police Commissioner that the Ministry will facilitate the MPF's execution of its constitutional duties without hindrance, in line with Governor Mbah's vision of making the state the #1 destination for living, business, and tourism. He emphasized the state government's expectation of the police to help in transforming Enugu into a crime-free and attractive investment hub in Nigeria towards actualizing the goal of growing the state's economy from a GDP of $4.4 billion to $30 billion within this administration. And that is the much we can take on Enugu State this week. Join us again same time next week for another edition. On behalf of the producer Steve Ede and the production team, I thank you immensely for watching. My name is Precious Chukwuekezie. Don't forget to follow us on our social media handles on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Enugu ESBS. On Instagram, Enugu ESBS. On Facebook, ESBS Enugu. And subscribe to our YouTube channel at ESBS Enugu 042. Thanks again for watching.